so much for coming, ladies. Nice to see you. Today is Parashat Ekev, and I call this class Acts of Love. And let's start with a story. So in the time of the Baal Shem Tov was a great rabbi. He was sitting once with his students, right? And it was Shabbat. And in the middle of once after he did the Kiddush, he started laughing. He was so happy, he smiled and laughed. Okay, the students knew that probably he saw something. He ate the fish, afterwards laughed again. And then they ate the main course and laughed again. And the students didn't understand, why is he laughing? Why is he so happy today? Motzei Shabbat, usually he sits with his students, and so one of his students is coming and asking him what was the reason of yesterday's great happiness. He told them, let's hop into the wagon and let's go with Alexei, and I'll show you somewhere. They drive and drive. Usually they used to give to the horses to drive on their own, And they came to a city that's called Koznitz. They come over there, and the rabbi said, please, if you can call this guy that is Shabtai. Shabtai, he's a bookbinder. Please call him. I want to talk to him. So they call him. We didn't know why the rabbi wants to talk to him. And the rabbi is asking him, please tell me, what did you do on Shabbat? What did you do yesterday? He was thinking, and then he felt embarrassed, and he didn't know what to say. He said, please, don't be shy. Just tell me what happened. He said, I'll tell you what. Years ago, I used to be very rich, very, very wealthy. So, all the expenses, we could buy food and stuff for the house, no problem. Usually for Shabbat, I used to buy everything in advance already on Thursday. And Friday, all day long, my wife would cook and do, and I would go to shul, to the synagogue, and pray and get prepared, ready for Shabbat, and then come only after the prayers. Only after Arvit, I used to come home, and this is how I used to prepare for Shabbat. Lately, I don't have the money. I lost a lot of money, and we couldn't really buy anything, and I didn't know what to do. I felt so bad for my wife and everything, and I did what I usually do. I go the whole Friday to study, and then I come after Arvit, not to be embarrassed by people who are asking me, do you have, you don't have? And when I come towards the house, I see a lot of lights. I see the table is set. I see food on the table, and I'm asking myself, where is this from? He asked so many times his wife, never take food from people, never take gifts from people. I don't like this, just don't do it. He says maybe she couldn't cope with this already. Maybe it was too hard for her, and she did go and take some money from people or food. So he didn't say anything. He came, he said Shalom Aleichem, Be'eshet Chayil. They did the Kiddush. He started to eat the fish, and then softly and gently he asked his wife, tell me, is it too hard for you, our condition? What did you do? How did you get all this? She says, no. He said, what are you thinking? You remember we were looking for a long time. I lost, she had these gloves that had silver buttons on it. And it was lost for a long time. I found it. I sold it. And from the money of this, I could buy all whatever we need for Shabbat. The chicken, the fish, the candles, the wine, whatever. And this is where it's coming from. The guy got so happy, okay, that his wife really didn't need any other people, food of people or anything. He took his wife, he held her hand, and he started to dance with her around the table. He's dancing, praising Hashem, thanking Hashem that, fine. He started to eat the second course, and after the second course, again he's dancing with his wife from happiness and enjoyment and gratitude to Hashem. And after the main meal, again dancing. This is Rabbi what I did yesterday. I guess it's not good. It's a sin that I danced with my wife. It's not good maybe, so he felt embarrassed. The rabbi said, no, don't be embarrassed. When I sat in my table, I felt that the angels are smiling in heaven. They're so happy. And then I understood what happened, that you did it. You know, he was very spiritual, the rabbi. He could feel these things. You did good, don't worry. Tell me, what do you need? I want to bless you. Do you need money? You want me to bless you with money? What do you need? They said, no, we don't have children. We want a child. Already married for a while, didn't have kids. He blessed them that they should have a very, very special child. And this became the Magid Mikozhnitz later on, very, very big rabbi. And that, you know, was influencing a lot of people, brought them to religion and everything. See how much Hashem blesses us, showers us when we praise Hashem. In our parasha, it starts, if you're going to listen to all the to me, you're going to perform all the mitzvot that I'm telling you to do, I'll give you abundance, I'll give you money, I'll give you whatever you want. There's so many blessings in the parasha. What Hashem is going to bless us if we are going to follow Hashem and all the mitzvot. And I wanted to make this connection. Well, a week ago we had Tisha B'Av. We were mourning for the destruction of the temple. Beginning of this week we had Tu B'Av. It's already a happy day when everything is opening up. You know, the people who have their luck is locked and they cannot get married. It opens for them and opens all kind of stuff. I want to speak about connecting back to Hashem. Oh, when the temple was destroyed, what happened? What happened when the temple was destroyed? The first temple, we, the Jews, we did three main sins, very, very big sins. One sin was Avodah Zarah, when we worship other gods, idols, okay? What does it mean? Disconnection from Hashem. Okay. Number two was Gilui Arayot. Gilui Arayot is adultery. When people who are not satisfied with a relationship, okay, between themselves and went to look for other relationship that was forbidden for them, he disconnects from his wife or she disconnects from her husband, okay, in adultery. That's what happens. So Hashem disconnected from us too. Avodah Zarah, Gilui Arayot, v'shfichut damim. Shfichut damim, when people were killing other people. What happens when somebody kills? He disconnects his life. So when these three main sins the Jews did, Hashem disconnected from us. What happened in the second temple? There was sinat chinam. Sinat chinam means hatred. People when they hate each other. What happens when people hate each other? They speak lashon hara. They're negative to one another. They're jealous at one another. Isn't that what causing separation between people? Disconnecting between people? Hashem is very upset when we don't get along with one another. If we, our children, we don't respect one another, if we don't get along, He is upset also. So again, this disconnection for thousands of years now. We didn't fix that sin yet. So how can we connect back to Hashem? How can we build again the temple and be united and be close to Hashem? What can we do? So, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Hashem, God, He loves us very much. He's like a loving Father that even if He punished us, okay, He still showed us that He loves us. At the time of the destruction, in the Holy Temple, we used to have the Kruvim. In the Holy of Holies, in the Kodesh HaKodeshim, we used to have the Kruvim. It's these two angels, one of the image of a baby boy, one of the image of a baby girl, okay, that were connected to one another. If people were righteous, if they were doing good, so they would face one another. If people did wrong, they would face opposite sides. And at the time of the destruction, the Goyim, they came and they opened it and they revealed it to everyone. What was usually hidden in the Kodesh HaKodeshim, they opened it and said, "Look, this is what you have in the holiest place in your temple? An image of two angels, of two babies. What is this?" They made fun of this, but they didn't understand that the Jews went to the exile with this, with the knowledge that Hashem loves them. They were still facing one another, even though Hashem was upset at them. Means Hashem loves us. Hashem wants to get connected to us. Hashem wants us to be together, to be united. Okay? So, how can we show love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? I want to tell you something interesting that the rabbis, they write here. Why do we have this inclination, this sex drive? Why do we have this? Why is there attraction between men and women? Why does Hashem create such a thing in the world? So people say it usually to build a family. In order to have family, to have kids, okay, to have continuity, you need attraction between men and women. The Ramban, I believe, says more than that. He says this drive is not only for continuity, to multiply, to make Periyavia, to have children, because if that would be the only reason, so, well, animals, when they get together, they get attracted to each other, but just for a little while. Once they have the child, they don't know each other anymore. That's it. If that would be the reason, so people would marry just for the sake of having a child, and then what do they need each other for? So it's not like that, Baruch Hashem, by us. We're different than animals. In marriage, they say, people through this evil inclination can sanctify themselves, can elevate them so much, because a person is the only creature in the world that can work on himself, that can control this evil inclination, okay, and be only with his wife and not with other women, and when it's needed and when it's not allowed. And he has the freedom of choice. He can decide, if to do good with this, God forbid, or God forbid to cheat on his wife and to do crazy stuff and not to be okay with this, right? Now, the purpose of creating the world is the human being, and the purpose of creating the human being is so that he would love Hashem. So how? Now, this is something interesting that I'll tell you. Through the love between couple, between man and woman, we can reach to love Hashem. And this is my subject today. This is what I'm going to speak to you about. And the Ramban says that, like the same way that the man, whenever he is in love with a woman, he thinks about her all the time. He keeps, whatever he does, he cannot really concentrate on anything else. He thinks about her all the time, when he gets up, when he falls asleep, when he goes here, when he goes when he gets into his car, when he comes back. People that are in love thinking about this all the time, all the time. This is the way people should really love Hashem. ואהבת את השם אלוקיך. What did it say? We read it in the previous parasha. בכל לבבך, in all your heart. בכל נפשך, and בכל מאודיך. So, and King Shlomo, he wrote a whole book about this. It's called Shir Hashirim. And so we say like this: what's the basis for love? How do we love people? How can we show love people? Give me. How do we show love?
Do something for them. Give them what
giving.
they need.
Very nice. Giving. Okay? Giving. What does it mean to give? So, a person is kind of reduces himself to seek for the benefit of his spouse, of, let's say, a woman, the benefit of her husband. She wants to make him feel good. She wants to make him feel happy. She wants to give him. Right? This is giving. Basically, we need to complete one another. Shalom, peace, is from the word shalem, complete. But we're not really complete. How do we get complete? When I'm looking for something that I'm missing in him, and he will complete me, and I will complete him. This is basically how it works together. And it says in Gittin, look at this strong sentence that it's written in the Gemara. Kol hamegareshet ishto harishona, whoever, God forbid, divorces from his first wife, okay, afilu mizbeach morid alav dmaot. Even the altar that used to be in the holy temple sheds tears, cries. An altar cries? Why? How is it possible? What does it mean, the altar? Why the altar? Why not the menorah in the holy temple, or the kruvim that we just mentioned, or the table, or the other instruments that we used to have in the holy temple? Because what is an altar? What is a mizbeach? What do we do on the mizbeach? We sacrifice sacrifices. In every relationship, one needs to sacrifice himself towards the other a little bit. Sacrifice with love, not with bitterness. Oh, I'll do it for you, but with love. If you do it with love, when a woman didn't sacrifice herself to the relationship, or a husband didn't sacrifice himself to a relationship, it means that they didn't work enough for this marriage. And unfortunately, there's so many cases of people who come to this point, it didn't get along, we didn't get along, it didn't work out, so, and it's a shame, it's not good. People get there because they didn't sacrifice enough, they didn't do whatever they could to save that marriage, to complete one another, to seek what he needs, what he wants, to make him happy. Yes, you're going to get happy too. We're going to speak about this later. But, the Ramban is asking, why do people get married? Usually most people say to build a family, to have kids, to have somebody, to have a friend in life, or to share some life with somebody. The Ramban says also to be able to do acts of kindness, because only in marriage you're obligated. You have to do all kinds of acts of kindness. And in marriage, you're in a position that you have no choice. You have to. Things that you didn't think you're going to do in the past, you have to do in marriage. And this is how you develop yourself. This is how you elevate yourself. You don't think only about yourself. You're thinking about him too. And this is when people give. People may think, but I get advantage. He's asking too much of me. It's not fair. It's too much. Whenever you give, it's just for your own benefit. I'll tell you a strong story that happened in the time of the Holocaust. A family arrived to Auschwitz. And the minute that they arrived to Auschwitz, usually the Nazis in Marshall, they used to separate, people. Whoever is sick, whoever is healthy, people that are healthy will go to the right side. People that are sick will go to the left side. So a couple came among all the thousands of people. The husband was sent to the right, meaning to life, and the woman was sent to the left, meaning to death. At a certain point, she realized that he forgot his bag of talit and tefillin in her hand. She was holding it, and he forgot it, and she wanted to give it to him. So, you may think, there's more important things in life, and who needs that? What, I'm going to run after him? You forgot it's his problem. She can say all kind of stuff. But she decided, it's such a tough time. Maybe he'll stick to it. Maybe it will help him with his emunah. Maybe. And she ran towards his truck, wherever they transport them now to another place. She ran to that truck to give him that bag. She was able to go on the truck, but then they closed the door. They didn't let anybody come down anymore. That's it. She was trapped there. Trapped in a good way. Means she was saved because she was not able to go back. If she would go back, they would kill her. Sometimes you think you're doing a good thing and you get advantage. No, it's for your own benefit. Don't be afraid. She was sent, this woman, she survived with her husband, these tough days. So, number 2, giving. We said giving. Number 2, how can you show love to your husband? I usually speak so much strongly, okay? I think communication is very important, and giving compliments to one another, okay? It's showing all kinds of acts of love. What do we speak when we say communication? The feeling of love you have to express in speech. You cannot keep the words of love to yourself and never express it to your husband. You have to keep constantly tell him that you love him, that you care for him, that he is everything for you, that you're so happy that he is in your life, that you're together, that whatever. Sentences like "I love you," "I'm happy with you," you do a lot of nachat to me, or stuff like that. Okay, it helps so much for the relationship of the couple, and it makes the relationship much better, much stronger. When a husband tells his wife that he's so happy, he's so satisfied with the fact that she takes care of the children, the fact that she cleans the house, the fact that she bought him, I don't know, a shirt, she did this. I mean, a woman does a lot. I have to tell you how much she's doing. She feels good. She feels okay. It was worthy. She feels happy with herself, and it gives her courage to do it. To continue with this even more, because the husband gave her good words that she's capable, that she knows what she's doing. So you have to speak a lot of sentences, give a lot of sentences of togetherness. What could be sentences of togetherness? We're one soul, you're telling. We're together in this. I'm so happy that whatever goes to, happens to you, happens to me. I care about you. Sentences like, it's very important for me, whatever you go through, during the day. I'm happy whenever you're happy. I feel bad when people hurt you. This is also something that he needs to hear. I feel bad when people hurt you. All these kind of sentences, they show that there is a faith in this connection between you. And God forbid, sentences like "We're so unfortunate that we got married," or sentence like "Let's get divorced," or sentence like "I wish I would be alone without you," or something like that. Okay, God forbid. These sentences, they create a lot of distance and separation and disconnection, and it doesn't help to no one. There are some people, unfortunately, that keep saying it over and over again and again. They make a huge mistake. So, so whenever he tells you something, okay, you have to listen to him. What does it mean to listen to him? Let's talk a little bit about listening. Many people, they hear, but they don't listen. What's the difference between hearing and listening? Listening, you hear. Listening, hearing is with the ears. Listening is with the heart. Okay? And people that are selfish, they cannot really listen. They're too much absorbed with their opinions, with what they think, and how they look at life, and what they think about him. They cannot really listen. A baby, can he listen to problems of people? No. A baby is so much concentrated on himself, so busy with himself to get the attention, to get all his physical needs. He keeps crying. He doesn't care about anybody. He just cares about himself. A baby, a small child, small people, they cannot listen. Big people, adults, okay, people who think about other people, about the welfare and the benefit of other people, these people can listen. So in order to communicate, okay, it's not only words of love that you say, that we mentioned before, and what you're not supposed to say, it's also listening to one another. He tells you something, be there for him. Listen to what he tries to tell you. If something bothers him at work, his client or his boss did say something to him, don't start giving him musar, moral. Yeah, I know, it's because you got up late, and it's because you get angry very fast. It's because don't start to find all kinds of solutions and advices. Listen, tell him, I see that you feel very bad, and I'm with you. When you say this, he can talk to you once more, and don't feel embarrassed. If you are not listening and instead you're giving him musar, okay, it's your problem, it's your mistake, he doesn't want to talk to you anymore, and then you complain, my husband doesn't talk to me. And so Listening is art. You tell him a sentence like, "It's very important for me. What happens to you?" And not in a way that you keep asking him questions every second, who spoke with him, who called him, and everything. But to see, he should know, he should understand that you care. For example, if a husband comes and tells you about a problem that he has in his job, and you're too busy with your chores at the house, with your work, with your phone call that you just got or something, and you don't care about what he says, it's not nice. You tell him like, you're not important to me, and I don't care about you and your problems, and go find I don't know what. It's not nice. It's not appropriate. The way that you want him to be there for you, you have to be there for him, and it builds up. All these things build up. So as I said before, today we don't have the Holy Temple. But Hashem says, "V'asu li mikdash v'shachanti betocham," I should dwell among you. How do we build our own private Holy Temple? Through these small little steps that I'm telling you. Through acts of love between you and your husband, you can get to love Hashem. And I'll stop here and I'll come to this later on as I continue talking about love. Another thing that is very important, we say in Hebrew, "Chaim ve'mavet beyad halashon." Everything is in the tongue. You can, with the tongue, with our words, we can kill, God forbid, people, and we can revive them. Okay, you can encourage people. You can give them hope. You can tell them that they are. If you're positive and you show, okay. Or, God forbid, people do the opposite. They can despair other people. They can be so negative. They could, and it's so important when you show that you use positive language, positive words. It helps so much to your relationship. Okay. When people speak, sometimes they don't pay attention, and you're not going to curse, but you don't use the best language for communication. Instead of saying nonsense, you can tell him something like, "You didn't really convince me in this. There are some weak points of this. We have to work on this better." Instead of saying something like, "It's stupid, completely stupid," instead of saying that, you can say, "Let's check it from a different angle, from a different perspective." Instead of, it's the same message, it's more respecting, and it's so much nicer. Instead of saying something like, "How can a normal person think in this kind of a way?" you say something like, "It looks to me like this opinion has some disadvantages," or stuff like that. Instead of saying, "You're completely wrong in this," you can say something like, it looks to me like this is the right way." Of course, it can go up and down this speech, but slowly, once you practice in this, okay, you're going to learn how to speak respectfully with one another. If your husband doesn't understand you, you can say with tact, you tell him, "Maybe I didn't explain myself well enough. Let me explain what I mean," and then continue on, So you don't have to show and to emphasize every mistake, every error he does. People sometimes do mistakes, so what? Sometimes it's grammar that we like fixing, or some other. It's not your obligation. You don't have to do this. If the error or this mistake repeats, and he asked you once, to he doesn't mind that you help him in that, is something else. But if he doesn't like it, there's no point. So whenever there is a good self-esteem, positive self-esteem of both of them in the marriage, she can fix him. But if there is no good self-esteem in both of them, and usually a lot of couples, they don't know how to do it, it's better not to fix this type of stuff. You don't know how to handle this, it's better not to do it. So people can say, "But it's not up to me. I say stuff and I don't pay attention to what I say." It's not true. Whenever you want, you can control your speech. If somebody comes into your house, somebody that you respect very much, somebody you're going to be so careful with what you say and how you say and the tone of your voice. So if you want, you can really control it. A wise person, once they asked him, so which principles in Shlom Bayit, in marriage, would you suggest? He says, don't say the first moment that something that you think about, don't blurt it, don't take it out of your mouth. Think before. This is what I would think, this the principle for Shlom Bayit. And it's true, it makes a lot of sense. Sometimes we just say all kind of things out of our mouth and then we regret and then we cannot take it back. There's a story here about a divorced woman that said, I thought, that it's very important for me to tell my husband how I think about things. What's my opinion about things, and if I don't like something, I should tell it to him. But my husband was so sensitive, too sensitive, that he took it the opposite, the wrong way, and he didn't accept what I said. And so she said that every time I used to tell her, keep yourself, your criticism, I don't need this and whatever, and she didn't care. She wanted to, make point and to say whatever she thinks. Eventually, he couldn't hold it. He couldn't stand it anymore, and he left her. And she keeps thinking that it was him that couldn't cope with the truth. People. They make mistakes. So the tone of voice, it's so important. Sometimes you don't have to say. It's enough that he looks at you. And if you're talking in a calm voice, not in an angry voice, it makes such a big difference. He wants to say that you want to say something. You want to deliver him a message. It depends how you do it. There's a lot of energy that comes from every one of us, and it depends how you do this. So, every change in your moods, you can feel it, the way that you talk, and you can feel frustration, you can feel anger, you can feel disappointment when you talk, the way that you talk, the way that you present yourself and everything. And for example, a sentence like, that he tells you, why didn't you wash my shirt? Or why didn't you take it to the laundromat? You never do this. I always have to beg you. This kind of a sentence, you see that he's already upset. Okay, it wasn't the first time, but he's already upset. What type of answer he's going to get from this kind of a statement? She's going to probably tell him something back like, and last time you didn't do it, whatever, right? Or if she tells him something like, don't you see that we need to clean the table? You never help. Why I always have to do it by myself? Why you never giving a hand? Why you never helping? This kind of a tone, he's going to want to help. He's going to start telling you all kind of stuff that you don't want to hear. So very important, the tone of the voice, how we say it, and how we asking. If you want to ask something, ask little kids. You'll be always on top of them. After a while, they won't like to help you. You have to do it in a friendly way, in a calm way, asking nicely and everything. There was this boy. See how words, it's so important that his father wanted him to learn how to swim. So he registered him by this special teacher that would train him how to swim. After a few classes, he comes back home and he tells his father, I don't want to learn. It's not for me. I don't know. I hate swimming. I hate swimming. So the father started to ask questions. He realized that the instructor probably is too harsh on him. So he goes to the instructor, to the teacher, and he tells him, try some positive words, huh? It's when you're saying to him like, you're unsuccessful, you don't know anything, you will never learn how to swim, you don't know, you're lazy, you whatever. He tells him, of course it's hard for him, try this with positive, maybe it is going to work out with positive. And then a few sessions afterwards, the boy is so happy and he's okay, and the father is new. I love swimming, it's so good, because he kept telling him, you can do it, you're capable, you're able, don't worry, you're almost there, right? So when you give encouragements, when you give praises, when you give good words, it works so much better than to be negative and to, suppress and to, so yes. when you want to be positive to him. So, as I said, praises, okay, will be able to build relationship between both of you. A sentence like, "I'm really impressed from what you said or from what you did," okay? You gave him a compliment now, you praised him, it's so important. You tell him something like, "Whatever you said touched me, touched my heart so much." You know, he feels good, you know, he was smart, he know what to say at the right moment. If you say a sentence like, I feel so good that I can trust you. I feel so good that I could trust you. A sentence like, "The sentence that you told me the other day helped me so much." Okay? A sentence like, "I feel secure whenever we're together." A sentence like, "You calm me down." A sentence like, "I was impressed from the way that you talked. This remark was very thoughtful. It was so courageous from you. Thank you so much for the consideration." You need to hear that things too from him, okay? And if you give these sentences to him 10 times, 20 times, there's a chance that once you're going to get that from him too. So, when people sometimes are asked, "Why you married?" What do people answer usually? "We have mutual kids. We share an apartment." Why do people why are people married? Why you stay in the marriage?
They share what? Appointments?
No, they share an apartment.
Appointments.
Maybe he may say that in my community it's not such a positive thing to get divorced. I got used to her. You know, people after a while, these are the remarks that they give. He gave all kind of stuff why he shouldn't divorce. He didn't really say why he's married to his wife. Think about this. So whenever you compliment him, okay, this turns, instead of feeling like you're handcuffed in this marriage, okay, you're going to have bonds of love, because this compliment gives so much to both of you. You feel worthy, he feels worthy, and so would you. You keep messaging one another that you're one whole, one neshama, you know. And when a husband, he usually compliments his wife for whatever she does in the house, okay, so she feels that, yeah, I did it, and Baruch Hashem, yes, and I'm capable, and I'm worthy, and it's good, okay. So this is what the feeling that you have to give to. So it continues here more and more about also how to show that you are interested in him, to listen to him, to do all kind of voices, to nod your head, and all kind of other advices here. How to show that you're really interested in what he says. You say, "Really?" and "Really, what happened?" and you ask him, and so that you are going to have this conversation. You're not going to be two strange people that live in the same house. Number 3, which is very important, I gave these 3 things for today. Number 3 that is very important is gratitude. This parasha, it's written, "Ve'achalta, ve'savata, u'verachta et Hashem Elokecha." People need to bless Hashem for all the goodness, for all the abundance that He gives them, okay? "Ve'zacharta ki hu hanoten lecha koach lasot chai." You have to remember always that Hashem is the one that gives you the strength, that gives you the energy, that gives you all whatever you've got. It's from Hashem. And if we don't do this, what happens? We start complaining. We start getting sometimes agitated and aggravated. That's not fair. Why he has, why I don't have it? And this is from feeling ungrateful. Okay, so it's so important. This is the basis, one of the basis of our emunah, of our faith, to feel grateful to Hashem, to thank Him. Okay, and think about this. If a woman is not grateful to her husband, and her husband is tangible, is next to her, how can she feel grateful to Hashem that gave her all what she has? It's so important to build this quality of thanking one another, of feeling grateful. He gives you the emotional support that you need. He gives you the financial support that you need. He helps you here and there with raising the children. He buys you a car so you can drive here and there, or he drives you here and there, everywhere. He fixes stuff in the house. He does whatever men usually do. Okay, you also do a lot, of course. You fix that, you clean, you cook, you run, you iron, I don't know, all whatever you do, everyone. So how will one feel grateful to one another if not by saying that, express that in words, okay? And it's so important. The same way that Hashem wants that we would show appreciation to Him, okay? So important that we would show appreciation to one another. And it's nothing to do with money. It's nothing to do with qualities. It's nothing to do with all things that a husband will give you thousands of dollars every day. But if you don't feel that you're wanted, that you're appreciated, it bothers you. You don't need all this money. You want a good word. That's what you need usually. So, how do we appreciate husband? Number one, dedicate time to think about whatever he does for you. And list it, write it down. It's so important. You're going to write down all the things that he does, and you will realize that he does a lot. You're going to have this list written on your, let's say, refrigerator, and read this every day, so that you really appreciate all the good things that he does for you. Chazal say that whoever doesn't respect his parents, okay, it's like he's not respecting God. Because parents give so much to the children, okay? Give him life, raise him from young age and everything. And if he's ungrateful to his parents, okay, definitely he could be ungrateful to Hashem. And from what this ungrateful, where is it coming from? Usually it comes from arrogance. You think you deserve this. You think you're entitled to get this. And when you are so much proud of yourself, too much arrogant, this is when you think everyone needs to, to fulfill your wishes and do whatever for you. This is when the problem starts. So, how do we show appreciation? How do we show gratitude? Smiling. Smiling is so important. When you smile, all your mood changes. A smile needs to come from the heart too. You cannot fake a smile. If you fake a smile, it feels it right away. You have to teach yourself, to be happy with what you have. And teach your children. You'll see how your children will be like that too. They will smile. They will be smiley kids also. When they see a mother smiles all the time, they will be smiling too. And also showing endless kinds of kindness, acts of kindness. And a woman can do acts of kindness all the time. I don't have to tell you what a woman can do. So in Mishlei, it says, Matzah isha, matzah tov, right? And so chesed starts from home. Don't be nice to all the people in the world. Start with your husband. Start with your children. Start with your family. That's the most important thing. People like to volunteer here and make phone calls there and go and help this elder or something. It's nice, it's beautiful, but first, be nice to your husband. Very important thing is to receive from him. Sometimes women cannot receive goodness, something that he wants to give you. You have to know how to be receiving, but this, Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to speak maybe next time. Ask him, what can I do for you? How can I make you happier? Can you say such a sentence? How can I make you happier? This is a show of appreciation. This is a show of gratitude. This is a show, an act of love. How can I make you happier? See how important it is to feel gratitude. When God created the world, okay, on the third day He created all the grass, all the trees, all the fruits and everything. But there was no rain. So they were created, but they stayed, on the surface, didn't really grow. Why? Because it says there was no human being that will appreciate, they will ask for rain and will appreciate it. So nothing grew until Adam was praying on Friday. He was created on Friday. He saw how important it is, the rain, so the things will grow. Okay? He prayed for this, and this is when Hashem brought the rain and things start to grow. So it's so important to appreciate, to have gratitude. And the Gemara says, how do we bless for rain? If you want to think how to bless for rain, it's for every drop that comes. We have to think for every drop that comes. Means, between husband and wife, for example, don't thank him overall, oh, you're a good husband. No, give him details. You were so considerate last night. You were so careful. You picked me up on time. There's millions of stuff what to thank for and how to show this appreciation. So, so it says, מי שכופר בטובתו של אדם, it speaks about פרעה. Paro, it says, "Vayako melech hadash al Mitzrayim." Was a new king. He was a new king. He was the same king. Everyone know he was the same king, but he didn't want to know all of a sudden who is Yosef and what great things he did for his country. He didn't recognize him anymore. Didn't want to feel gratitude towards him. This is Vayako melech hadash al Paro. So because he ignored all whatever Yosef did for the nation, later on he says, Mi Hashem sheishma bekolo. Who is God? There is no God. I don't believe in God. I don't think I have to thank Hashem for all whatever I have. That's what happens when people don't thank other people. They don't thank Hashem too. So this is very important. There's a story about an idol worshiper, Gentile, not Jewish, that once made a big feast to all the people in his town. And Rabbi Dostenai was there, and he said, he said, I witnessed, I was there. His table was full with any delicatessen you want. There was everything on the table. All kind of fruits, all kind of vegetables, all kind of spices, all kind of rare things that you cannot really find. Everything was there except certain nuts. Certain nuts you didn't have there. When this Gentile, Akum, this non-Jewish man, heard that one thing was missing from his table, he kicked the table, okay, and destroyed everything. So this Rabbi Dostena is asking, why? Why to throw out everything? He says, if one thing I'm missing, nothing is worthwhile. And this is what it says, Beten Rashaim Techsar. There are some people that are never satisfied with what Hashem gives them. They have all the wealth in the world. They have a nice house, they have a nice family, huge car, a nice business, I don't know, vacationing here, vacationing there, and keep complaining. These people, they're never satisfied with what they have. And sometimes Hashem takes from them. But that's a different story. I want to tell you something interesting.
I have a question.
Yes.
I know whatever you said is true, but there are some people that have everything, but they're not satisfied, not because they have everything and because they don't have it, because they have too much. It's because maybe they don't have something else, like love, appreciation. So maybe that's the situation.
Maybe that, but here I said that one thing that's missing in his life, okay, for them they feel like life doesn't worth anything. He says, we have, it says in the Torah, he says, in your Gemara, whatever it says, that the Goyim, the Rashaim, they have Olam Hazeh, and you have Olam Haba, right? How come if I'm missing something in this Olam Hazeh, something is wrong here? Meaning, I have to get everything. If I don't get even one thing is missing, okay, I'm so upset. I'm so angry at God. You understand what I say? Of course, if something's so important like love, person should seek for it. People should look for it. Okay, whatever is missing and he needs that, he should look for it. But not feeling upset and depressed and angry at all the world because he's missing one thing. He's not looking right at things. He has, Baruch Hashem, so much that he needs to thank for them. There was a boy by the name Daniel, and he was a young student. He had a grandmother, and unfortunately he had to put her in a nursing home. He was the only grandson to her, Unfortunately, when he was 3, his parents died in a car accident and he was injured very badly. There was no one to take care of him except this grandmother. And the social workers came to their house and they asked, you think you will be able to do that? I mean, she lost her husband a few months earlier, and now her children got, they died in this accident. She's going to be able to take care of this 3 years old grandson that is injured? She said, yes, please, don't worry. I want to concentrate. I'm focusing on what I got. I got this present of taking care of my son. I don't want to concentrate on whatever I lost. This was her motto in life. I want to concentrate on what I got, not on things that I have lost. She took care of him with love. She really raised him so nice, and he felt so good towards her. He wanted to be with her, but she couldn't function anymore. Through the years, she got sick. Her kidneys, she had problems, and then they didn't function anymore. She needed to go to all kind of dialysis, all kind of problems, and now she cannot be on her own, and he cannot drop from school. That's the only thing that he has. He cannot drop school and be by her 24/7. He couldn't hire, help or anything. He didn't have money, so he put her in a nursing home. What could he do? So now he's packing up her stuff. He wants to send everything to the nursing home. So the movers, they came and they wanted to pick up the piano. It was a huge piano. They want to lift it, and it's so heavy. The piano is so heavy. So they tell the boy, what's in this piano? Why is it so heavy? He says, I don't know. He opens the cover and he sees a lot, thousands and thousands of little notes, folded notes in that piano. He opens one. It says, Hashem, thank you so much for doing this miracle to me. You sent me Daniel, and I'm so happy that he's with me. Hashem, all kind of notes like that, thanking Hashem for all kind of small miracles that Hashem did. And she looked so positive of everything, and she made every positive thing that happened to her life, in her life, she made it a miracle. Imagine to yourself how every day she used to write something and put it inside this cover of this, inside this piano. Yeah. I don't know how many of thousands of notes she had inside there, thanking Hashem for all the good things that He did for her. This is a nice attitude. This is an optimism. This is a nice thing of looking at life. Okay, Hashem doesn't have to give us, and the fact that you get, you have to thank Him, you have to appreciate, you have to feel gratitude, and it's so important. Now let's go back to love that I started with this. Rabbi Akiva, he married Rachel. Okay? Why did he get married? Was he rich? No. Was he smart? No. Was he handsome? No. Was he something special? No. He was older, much older than her. She was from a rich house. She was from a very known house. She was beautiful. She was the most wanted single woman at that time in Israel. Why she got married with somebody that's older for her, I don't know, 20 or something years, and some say that he was already married before, and not because of his money, obviously, not because she saw that he's tzanua u'me'uleh, he has good qualities, but if he's going to study Torah, it's going to make him so much special. That's what she saw in him. So she encouraged him very much, and the Gemara describes the good relationship, the bond that was between Rabbi Akiva and Rachel. He felt that she's from a rich house and she lives now a poor life. He couldn't really offer her, and her father was very upset at her. He felt that it's hard on her. They say that in the winter they used to sleep in a barn, and the straw used to get stuck into her hair, and he used to pick up this straw from her hair every day and used to tell her, one day if I'll have the ability, I'll buy you a crown full of gold. It's called Ir Shazav or Yerushalayim Shazav. He told it to her once. And she encouraged him to go and study. So we know for 24 years he went to study, and he comes back with 24,000 students. When he comes back to town, everyone wants to greet them and say, yo, this big rabbi is coming, and they wanted to all greet him. And his wife, she didn't wear something special, very poor clothing. she was also standing in the corner. And as she saw him, she came and she wanted to kiss his feet or his shoes, something like, And the students saw this woman and they pushed her away. Who are you? Get away. This is our big rabbi. What are you doing here? And the rabbi, Rabbi Akiva, says, הניחו, let her. ששלי ושלכם שלה, all whatever I learned and all whatever you know, it's all because of her. She gave me the courage. She gave me the ability. She believed in me. Okay? And in a way, some people say that she was wearing this still clothing so that he will remember how much she devoted to him, how much she gave from her. She used to grow her hair, cut it, sell it, and send money to him that he would study. Every time she used to do that, or to go and clean people's houses, or do whatever, so that he will study. This relationship, you see, that it's not built on money, on fame, on name, and stuff like that. The foundation here is so much stronger, okay? And Baruch Hashem, later on, he really was able to buy her this crown. It says that the wife of Rabbi Gamliel comes to him, and she says, it's not fair. The Rabbi Gamliel was Nasi. He was a very important rabbi in Israel. He says, you have the money. Why don't you buy me this kind of jewelry? He says, did you do whatever she did? Did you go and let him get away for 24 years and sell your hair? And you didn't do that. If you invest so much in the wedding, you will see the results later on. Okay? This is an example of a couple that knew what is love. And because Rabbi Akiva knew so much what is love, later on, when the Romans had this decree not to teach Torah in public, and Rabbi Akiva, because he loved Hashem so much, did teach it in public, they caught him and they tortured him. When he died, what did he say? He started to say, "Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha." I love Hashem with all my heart, with all my soul. Even if they take it away from me, I love Hashem completely. I don't care. How did a man come to this circumstance, when they kill him, when they torture him, and he says, I don't have problems with emunah, I don't have problems with faith. I trust Hashem completely. I love him with the fact that he's torturing me. How can he say such a thing? A person that knew what is love towards his wife, he knows what it is to love Hashem. A woman that knows how to love her husband, she will know how to love Hashem. I would like to finish with, I told you tonight is the Yotzat of my grandfather, Arav Zulun Leviv. And I want to show you an act of love. So he was teaching Torah in Samarkand when it wasn't allowed, okay? By the communists, it wasn't allowed. And they caught him. They put him in trial, and in court they say he needs to be sent 10 years to Siberia. And he was sent to Siberia. He was there for the first, he was there a year and a half, because then, Stalin, Baruch Hashem, died, and then they released all the prisoners. But in that time that he was there, I don't have to tell you what is Siberia. His family, Sibir, his family sent him matzot for Pesach.
Wow.
And the people from the prisoner purposely didn't give it to him on time. They gave it to him after Pesach. They didn't want him to enjoy matzot in Pesach. So he saw that he didn't get the matzot. He knew that they sent it, but he didn't get it. He said, what should I do? What should I do? He didn't want to eat chametz on Pesach. So he asked from a neighbor in his bunk, he asked a person that worked with him, a non-Jewish, give me your cube of sugar. I'll give you my bread. Yeah. That's what he ate all Pesach, sugar and some water or tea or something like that. Okay? That's it. Wow. What is this? Where it's coming from, if not from love? Okay? These are people who loved Hashem, okay? Not because this, not because that, because they loved Hashem. And my grandfather, when he came to Israel, the 71st, in the year of 1971, he ran away from Russia. He came to Israel. it's very rare when all the children and the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren they're all Shomer Shabbat. Very rare. And Baruch Hashem, he got this blessing that all his children are following his footsteps. This is from where? Hashem blesses us in this parasha. You do what I tell you, I'll give you everything. So B'ezrat Hashem, I bless you that you'll get whatever you want, B'ezrat Hashem.
Amen.